city, attending a prestigious school, being supported by his mum despite her struggling income. After getting into a massive car, David comes to find his mother has passed away because she couldn't afford.
You nasty.
Hey, you made this far and you haven't already, drop a sub on channel, drop a like. Full reaction if you just want to show support will be on Patreon, links in the description. GIGGUK reactions coming up next. SOPHIE said what's going on, Nasty Cast, it's your man behind the cam director here with another GIGGUK reaction. The Cyberpunk anime is actually incredible. I can finally watch this because, as you guys know, may or may not know, I don't know, I'm on a whole nother channel called YABOYROCKLEE where I do these, where I do mass anime reactions. This is one of the ones we just got through. I'm gonna leave that link in the description. I might post something up right about here so you guys can go check that out, or just, you know, search YouTube for YABOYROCKLEE Cyberpunk and it'll pop up. Promise you it's gonna pop up. The Cyberpunk anime was a wild ride. 10 episode longs, very fast, very compact, but very, very well written and driven. I did have some hang-ups about the Cyberpunk anime, but I very quickly let them go. For me, the ending was inevitable, but I still didn't like how it ended. It left me very, it wasn't a happy ending, bro. It honestly just wasn't a happy ending, which doesn't bother me, but if a lot of parts of it felt expedited. However, from across the community, right, everybody thought it was incredible. Everybody absolutely loved it. They loved every single element of it, and I understand why. There was gore, there was Black Air Force moments, there was thugging shit happening left and right, and of course there was nice waifus, titties, and ass everywhere. Just everywhere. So between the gore, ass, and, you know, of course the universe itself with the upgrades and whatnot, it was easy to see why a lot of people love the anime. Me, did I enjoy it? Yes. Did I love it? I'm not gonna say I loved it. Was it incredible? I will give it credit where credit is due. It was incredible. I thought it was well depicted. There's a couple reasons why, like I said, it's not my favorite, but I can respect a lot of the elements that they put into it. Specifically, having a very coherent story that was very concise. That's impressive. That's impressive. Netflix team and what's the name of the animators? Oh, I forget their name already, but everybody's been raving about them since they dropped this. They did a good job, and I want to see if GIGGUK hits on some of the same points that I hit on. So we're gonna jump into this. If you made this far and you haven't already, drop a sub, drop a like. Whole thing's gonna be on Patreon. Link is in the description. If you see my videos on homepage, click on those thumbnails. It helps me in the algorithm. I'm live every Monday and Friday night. Check me out on Twitch. Yeah, GIGGUK. Cyberpunk anime is incredible. Reaction coming up next. Hey, just a quick thank you to all the subs on the channel. You members of the Nasty Cast are the driving force that makes all this possible. Catch Director Nasty on Reddit, Patreon, and all other socials in the description below with links. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again. Weird. The guns. How could I forget about the guns?
Where the fuck did this come from? Seeing the explosion of anime in the past 10 years was bloody exciting if you
Made
were
in
an
Abyss,
anime fan
okay.
before. Suddenly this niche little medium you loved was starting to get noticed by a wider audience, and that was a good thing, because this must have meant so many more great anime that would have never been made before might just be on the horizon. The small fan-run companies we followed got an injection of money they needed. Big players were starting to get into the game. There was so much potential for cool projects, so much promise of
Hey,
being taken to the next
JJK.
level. It was hectic.
Oh, I
It was
thought that was
exciting.
Sword Art
The
earlier.
possibilities seemed endless.
What the
And
hell is
what did we
that?
get?
We've been preparing our whole lives for this day.
One thing we did get was more anime, but that didn't necessarily mean that was more great anime.
Yeah,
the shows you wanted
facts.
to watch were split across a million different streaming platforms, and some of the shows you were excited
Hey,
for
JoJo,
had
I
all
still
their
gotta catch
possible
up on
hype
that,
killed
bro.
when the wrong platform picked it up. This wasn't on the fine print of the
Yep.
expectations we had, but every so often there comes along a project that makes me remember, alright.
Netflix killed JoJo. I said it. I stand by it. Nobody's gonna change my mind. The content is still good, but the release schedule.
Maybe anime getting worldwide recognition wasn't such a bad thing after all. Cyberpunk Edge Runners might be one of the most exciting collaborative projects I've seen in years. Coming from Studio Trigger and
Trigger!
Project Red, this was the type of project we were
CD's
waiting
nuts.
for. Following
Shut the
their
fuck
very
up.
successful launch of Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt
You ain't shit for that, bro.
Red obviously saw potential for more stories to take place in the world they had crafted, and in the process might have accidentally made one of the best things to come out all year. Continuing this unexpected but wonderful trend of animated video game adaptations slapping harder.
Arcane was better.
Report card. That's right, guys.
Yeah, nah, Arcane was better than Cyberpunk in my opinion. That's just an opinion. Some may not like that, some may not agree with it, but Arcane was better than Cyberpunk, bro. I liked Cyberpunk, but Arcane had me feeling things, bro. It really did.
Game adaptation slapping harder than an Asian parent who'd just been given a bad report card.
Facts.
That's right, guys. I'm a real gamer. Not because I play them, but because I watch them. It's a canon side story in the Cyberpunk 2077 universe, taking place in the future, in the dark, gritty, violent dystopia nightmare called the United States of America.
Hell yeah!
Night City. David is a kid just trying to survive in the city, attending a prestigious school being supported by his mum despite her struggling income. But after getting into a massive car accident, David comes to find his mother has passed away because she couldn't afford proper healthcare. Wait a minute, guys, that was a joke. That was a fucking joke.
Nah, we really in America. Hell yeah. Nah, I swear to God, the healthcare system in Cyberpunk Edge Runners is exactly the same as in America. Don't let them lie to you. It's the same fucking shit. You don't got the right coverage. Your ass is staying on the floor. Yeah.
To a life of crime, meeting Lucy, a skilled cyber hacker, and her fellow gang members. He joins their crew, taking on missions so they can survive together in the underbelly of Night City. Alright guys, I've got a confession to make. I'm not actually a gamer. I lied before. I don't play video games.
Think you can get away?
Shut up. I hadn't played
You play Genshin, nigga.
And my only prior knowledge about it was that the game was a little buggy, so I went into this completely blind. And while I'm sure I missed some Easter eggs here and there, it did not.
I missed a lot. I didn't play the game.
The world of Night City is stunningly brought to life under Trigger's eyes. Neon lights illuminate the.
It's not my fault I didn't play the game. In all honesty, when it came out, I didn't have the new Xbox or nothing, and my PC was like kind of fucking up. And on top of that, I heard when it did come out, it was bricking PCs. I was like, couldn't be me.
Concrete jungle with a fluorescent color palette. You can smell the stench of stale piss reeking from the back alleys. Every random passerby feels like they have a story to tell. I think people forgot that beyond the glitches and T-posing, CD Projekt Red actually crafted a truly vibrant world with so much potential for interesting stories to take place. Edge Runners might not have Keanu Reeves, but it does have this guy.
Hell yeah. Faraday.
I pay you to check the boxes off my list.
Wait a minute. Is that my man Gus from Breaking Bad?
Yes, it's Gus, nigga.
The first thing anyone will probably notice is Studio Trigger's footprint stamped all over the show. You know, as much as I like Trigger, recently when I saw their name attached to a project, especially if it was being led by this man, Hiroyuki Imaishi, I was starting to think I was watching a one-trick pony. I remember the first time I saw Gurren Lagann, I was blown away by the sheer absurd over-the-top hype contained in it. Then I saw Kill la Kill, and I was slightly less blown away by the sheer absurd over-the-top hype contained in it. Then I saw Pro-Mech, and I was puffed away. I never saw Kill la Kill or this one. Contained in it. And then I saw they were doing an episode of Star Wars Vision, and I was like, is there going to be some sheer absurd over-the-top hype contained in this? Yep. Oh, there it is. Now, did Edge Runners have some sheer absurd over-the-top hype contained in it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
bitch, what?
But it was actually kind of muted in comparison to all that other stuff. I mean,
muted?
This is ridiculous to you, but this is just a standard driving experience in India. There are still flashes of that classic balls-to-the-wall Trigger hype, but I feel like they had to restrain themselves a bit more than usual due to this being a canon story in a pre-existing universe. But because of this, they needed to find more creative ways to up the ante aside from going into space. Going into space. Going into space, or my personal favorite, going into space. And I feel like by restricting them, you got to see a whole new side shine through. Oh, for fuck's sake. This, in my opinion, is one of their shows to date. The gunplay on display is absolutely insane. David has this special ability to go bullet time, creating an army of after images for every movement he makes, which melts my mind every time I see it. But most notably, this is the first time I've seen them tackle an old school hyper-violent show, and you could tell they had so much fun breaking all the shackles that usually limit them. Bodies get blown apart in an explosion of bright red blood, intestines go flying out, bits of skull and eyeballs rain down with every shot blast. Seeing this type of hyper-violence being done with the Trigger flare was a brutally beautiful sight I didn't know I needed until now. Trigger were already the masters of giving their shows a unique visual identity, but I feel like even here, everything was polished and sharpened to a level even further beyond. I remember the first time I booted up Persona 5. I was enamored
God.
by just how much work must have been put into its aesthetics. The striking color palettes, the battle animations, the text messages, even the individual menus, everything down to the smallest details seemed to be meticulously crafted to fit this visual style. It was just so fucking cool, and this is the exact same
I've
feeling
never
I
played
get
Persona.
when watching Edgerunners. Every frame is oozing with a visual flair most shows could only dream of achieving. There were some
Facts.
scenes with so much going on, it felt like my brain couldn't process all the stimuli it was receiving.
No, that happened to me multiple times. I'm not gonna lie, there was a few times watching Edge Runners where you know how in some video games they say, oh, might cause flash or seizure warning? I used to laugh at that shit. And then I watched Cyberpunk's Edge Runners and I was like, yo, y'all niggas almost set me off. It was insane, but it's so beautiful.
This wasn't the rule of cool. This was the rule of fucking cool. And it was so refreshing seeing this team's insane creativity being pushed to a level I hadn't seen before. Then we got the soundtrack. You know how in most anime you got your normal background music, then during the season finale or some shit, it'll hit you with a special insert song they've saved up just for this moment. And it's beautiful. It elevates the moment and it kind of feels like it turns the scene into a narrative music video. Yep. Cyberpunk has that for like every episode. This OSC is just overflowing with such fantastic tracks that at some point I feel like they had too many to work with. There'd be a throwaway scene of just two characters talking and I'd be like,
Only gonks talk down to others.
shut up for a second. Can we turn this music up? The song's kind of a banger. From synthwave to metal to electro to fucking reggae. So many scenes felt like I was watching a stylistic music video. It was like I was watching Fooly Cooly all over again. And then there's the writing.
So you guys are cyberpunks, aren't you?
Oh, they're mobbing! He's going full mob! Out of everything, this was probably the least strongest aspect, but I'm only saying that because everything else was absolutely stellar. Sure, there were some awkward pieces of dialogue here and there,
I'm built different.
Bro, I'm a different breed. Of what, a chinchilla?
but honestly,
Yes.
everything was solid and did what it needed to do. I've seen a few complaints saying that there wasn't enough runtime and it kind of felt rushed, but I didn't get that feeling at all.
Yes.
To me, it didn't feel rushed. It just felt dense.
Fast.
This is 10 episodes, packed to the absolute brim. From start to finish, the series rarely gives you a chance to catch your breath. Shit's
Facts.
constantly going down, situations are always evolving, and while it would have been nice to have an extra episode or two with a bit of downtime here and there, never once did it feel like a major story beat wasn't earned. And yet,
Agreed.
even through everything, they still found time to make a standout episode. Episode 6 might be one of the best episodes of anime I've seen in years.
Nah,
From
it
the
was
opening
insane.
second, something feels off. The air feels heavy. You find yourself being on edge. Everything is draped in an air of unease and you can't put your finger on exactly why, like you're standing in the eye of an unseen storm. And what follows is a 20-minute psychedelic trip down into insanity that simply left me speechless by the end. It was an absolute masterclass of direction and cinema, and it's episodes like this that reminds me why the medium of animation is so fucking incredible. Even with a short
Yo, that
episode
main
count, it
episode
didn't
went
affect how
crazy,
invested
bro.
I was in everything. It's been a while since I've seen an ensemble that left such a big impression on me so quickly. Everyone feels memorable without feeling like they're just a walking trope. From looks to personality to attitude, each character is totally distinct from one another and have this group chemistry that's infectious. Main walks in as the charismatic father figure of the group. David's that eager younger brother. Rebecca was one of the more minor characters, and yet with just a few scenes, she was able to leave a stronger impression than most characters do with hours of screen time.
Oh, David, my man, what's going on?
It's series like this that shows you don't need hours of backstory to get attached or like a character. Everyone felt like they were a part of this dysfunctional family and there would be a gaping hole without them there, and you get just as emotional when some of the major events happen. Watching this reminded me of the feeling I got when watching Cowboy Bebop. I didn't need Spike, Faye, or Jet's backstory to get attached to this crew. I already was way before their respective episodes, because it was just a pleasure to spend time with all of them. You never wanted their journey to end.
That's what they
but
did
you
really
knew it
good,
had to
though.
eventually.
Oh,
And when it
God.
does, you're left with this bittersweet feeling of emptiness, knowing that you've had to say goodbye to your time with them.
You're the guy who jumps into the fire to rescue someone. Anyone. Even when you know you're gonna get burned.
Yup.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners is an example of what happens when you give a team gone mad with creativity the resources to do what they want to do. This is what it's like watching a show where every single person working on a project gives a shit. You can feel the love and excitement emanating from every single second of this runtime because absolutely no one half-arsed it. Everyone brought their A-game, not a single person phoned it in. It's as much a passion project as it is a promotional piece for a gaming franchise everyone had already written off. This was the project we were promised when anime started to get more recognition globally. The prospect of some of the most talented names in the niche medium of anime we followed getting to go wild with some of the biggest
That's
names
Gurren
and
Lagann I've
franchises
ever
from
seen
a
it.
totally different medium was meant to give us more shows like this. And I hope that this isn't just the exception, but the standard for future collaborative anime projects to come. Bravo, guys.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm glad I watched this. Cause I almost feel like
Not a single T-pose. 0 out of 10 worst adaptation of all time.
this guy. That was GIGGUK. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is amazing. I'm actually very glad I watched this. Cause I actually just recently, we binged it like in the last 2 weeks. Between the hurricane and being at TwitchCon, I kind of feel like, and we watched it really fast. I kind of feel like I was kind of harsh on it, man. Like, one thing is, we did watch it in dub, right? I stand by what I'm about to say. I still think, I feel like the sub would hit better for me. There was some dialogue in the show that was very fucking corny, right? But one of the things that I missed out about Cyberpunk that I forgot connected with me so well was that all the characters, okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what to tell you. One big thing for me was as you lost characters, as you lost members of the crew, you could feel the atmosphere shifting. As David is going down this well of just chroming up, you can feel the dread, the existentialism falling. It starts with that main episode, to be honest with you. That's where it starts. That's where it's like, yo, David, if you don't relax, that's where the fuck you're going. And I forgot how much it weighs. The loss of each member trying to keep going. David's in a refusal to not save everyone. It's oh my God. I really feel like watching this gave me a reappreciation of what I felt while I watched it. Because, you know, sometimes we get that effect where you watch a show and when you're watching it, you love it. And then when you go back to it, you're like, wait, why did I like this show? I feel like I was kind of going through that a little bit. I was like, I watched Cyberpunk, loved it. Had a few complaints about the dialogue being lame. Like you said, the runtime, it felt fast, but it was a complete story. And it was a well-written, complete story. I think if I played Cyberpunk, I might have enjoyed or appreciated a lot of the scenes and animation more. But Cyberpunk was visually stunning. The story was complete and dark, which is right up my alley. They gave us, like, I agree with what he said. Rebecca over Lucy, bro. Comment down below, Rebecca or Lucy. For me, it's Rebecca over Lucy. I liked Lucy. I loved Lucy. She was good for David, but it was Rebecca over Lucy for me, bro. I don't even have the words for it. For me, okay, I do have the words for it. For me, it's Rebecca over Lucy because, yes, Lucy was the girl, but Rebecca, the fact that Rebecca liked and wanted David, but was mature enough to understand that he's not hers and it's not her turn, but she cared about him anyways, deeply cared about him. There's something about that. Maybe it's part of me wants a shawty to simp for me. Maybe it's just having what feels like that unconditional support just feels good. I don't know. But for me, I liked Rebecca over Lucy. Lucy was dope. Don't get it twisted. Lucy was bad, bro. She was bad and capable as all hell. But I liked Rebecca slightly better. Yeah, man, I'm so glad I watched this. I feel like it gave me a reappreciation for it. Because when I watch it, yeah, fantastic stuff. Yeah, we're going to end this one here. Yo, GIGGUK, shout out to you. Because, like, I was really thinking that, like, after Cyberpunk was done, I was like, yo, Cyberpunk was good, but it wasn't rated that high. But visually, I think visually it's going to be better and was better than a lot of things that's going to come out. And I think that's a part of it that maybe because I watched it so fast, I didn't get to appreciate it. Visually, it was stunning. Re-seeing some of these scenes from in this video, I was like, yo, I didn't really appreciate all the cop cars crashing in the background. I didn't appreciate this night city being lit up while they're riding the motorcycle across the coast. I didn't appreciate like some of the gun scenes where somebody's shooting and you could see the light flashing on their face, and it just gave it an extra little ooh, damn. I talked about the gore, but like the gore was only like it was a large part of it, but that was just part of the visual amazingness of it. Damn. Damn. I'm almost tempted to watch it in sub to see if I like the VAs better. Cause that was one I think, and to be honest with you, that might be the only reason why I don't remember Cyberpunk as well as I should, or give it enough credit, because the dub VAs, although they were good, I feel like sub VAs just give it a little bit extra. So I think I might watch it in sub. Also comment down below, Rebecca or Lucy, and comment down below if you watch it in sub or dub, because I kind of want to give the sub a try. We gonna see. With that being said, we're gonna end this here. If you made this far and you haven't already, drop a sub, drop a like. Whole thing gonna be on Patreon. Link is in the description. If you see my videos on your homepage, click on those. It helps me in the algorithm. If you wanna catch me, I'm live on Twitch every Monday and Friday night. Go check that out. I'm your man behind the cam, and as always, stay nasty, y'all.
You nasty.